Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? This is Kevin Anglade, and you are now tuning in to the Wise Guys podcast, brought to you by Flowered Concrete. Check it out.
Yo, 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 what's going on? What's going on? We back. Yes, indeed. We're back. Once again, we're back. This is your boy, Kevin Anglade.
This is Pruden.
And we are the Wise Guys podcast. Back again for another episode. Marky Mark, how you doing, bro?
Everything's great, man. It's been a beautiful week.
It has. No, yeah, man. Everything's good on my end, too, man. It's been a good, beautiful week. The only thing I'm a little worried about is what, this forecast is predicting for us in regards to the snow, man. I don't really want to deal with it right now.
Yeah, I'm definitely not ready for that shoveling again, but, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, the good thing is that, if we get a lot of snow, hopefully I can get, we can get school canceled so that way I don't have to go to work. But,
Yeah, that would be a good perk.
Yeah,
sure,
that would be a great perk. But, there are no guarantees. But I'm kind of hoping low-key it doesn't snow because it just messes everything up, man.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Man, Mark, before we get started, how do you feel so far, man? We're not at the halfway point yet, but we're like 1/3 in with this show, man. We're like 33% in with the show, man. I feel as if we've grown a lot in these past 8-9 episodes, man.
Yeah, man, feeling good. I mean, it's just constant development from each episode, learning and growing from all the, the good and bad things that we do.
Yeah.
We just learning from our mistakes and just growing from it. So it's been great, man. Just learning how to keep this going.
No, I agree, man. I agree. And, we're learning on the fly, right? But I feel as if, we've made a lot of progress over the meantime. And as I'm talking to you right now, I'm on my laptop. Obviously, this is how I, prepare for the show in terms of, my questions, my stats, and things I have to offer to the show. But as I'm looking at my email right now, we got we have a special guest today, too. But we have a really, really, really special guest that you and I have been talking off air, and we've been trying to get on the show for a while. And we just booked her in about 2 weeks, man. It's going to be dope. I ain't going to have the conversation with you right now, but I'm going to let you know off air, man. But she'll be coming on real, real soon.
Gotcha, bro. For sure.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll talk about that another time. But yeah, man, how'd you feel about last week's episode, man, with the businessman Gene Yao? I thought that was a really good one.
Yeah, that was great, man. I like his mindset when it comes to building our own community and just keeping it within the family. So I definitely can respect that, and just something else for me to think about and keep in the back of my head when I'm conducting business and stuff like that. Like that less selfish approach,
Right. No, for sure. I thought he had some good gems to provide to the audience. Once again, ladies and gents, Gene Yao does not have social media. He only goes by email. That's the only way you can contact him. So if you'd like to reach out to our guy Gene Yao, please be sure to email him. All right. I know he said it in the last episode, but I'll also tag it in the last episode. All right, for the businessman. Okay, I'll also tag his email within the description links of social media and as well as all the podcast streaming services. So shout out to Gene Yao once again for coming onto the show, man. We really appreciate your words, and we hope to have you back next time with Jimmy. I think 4 brothers on the show, that would create a great dynamic, don't you think?
Absolutely. For sure, bro.
For sure. But today, Mark, we have another special guest coming on the show, right?
Definitely. Looking forward to speaking with him.
Yes. So this is another business-minded episode. Today's episode 9 is called Too Cool for School. All right? Too Cool for School. And I think the title of this episode is very aptly titled because of this guy's beautiful mind, what he does as a creative, and also mine too. You know what I'm saying? I'm a poet, man. I'm a hip-hop poet. So let's give me credit for that title itself, Too Cool for School.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So real quick about this guy, man. I've been watching this guy come up for a while now. We both went to Martin Van Buren High School. I think he graduated the year before me. I'll have him clarify when he comes on the show. I think He probably graduated '08. I graduated '09. Don't quote me, I could be wrong. But man, like, I didn't know him at all when I went to Martin Van Buren High School. Did not know him at Van, but I just watched his come up due to another friend of ours, definitely a brother of his, but a friend of mine's by the name of Anthony. He goes by Flo as a rapper, and they rep the Louder Crew, up in Northside Queens, New York. And I just been watching these brothers, rise and ascend, and then really, really doing great. And that's how I got onto this guy, and he's really, really dope. And the reason why we're bringing him on the show today, ladies and gents, look, I'm gonna tell y'all like this right now. All right, I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. We are not an entertainment podcast at all. We are not geared and veered towards entertainment. All right. I don't normally do rappers on the show. I'll probably never do rappers again. Well, I'm lying. I'm lying. There's another rapper coming on in a few weeks. I lied. There's another rapper who I truly love as a person who's coming on in a few weeks. But this young guy right here that's coming on the show today, he's bringing more than just rap to our podcast. He's bringing enlightenment. He's bringing wisdom. He's bringing knowledge. He's bringing entertainment, yes. He's bringing value, and he's bringing education. And he's bringing, most importantly, to the music aspect, he's bringing education and business to it. All right? Business. So, ladies and gents, enough of this, enough of my rant. Let's welcome on to the show, all right? I'm going to call him in by his artist name, Cash Sinatra. My boy Cash. Cash, what's going on, my boy?
Well, yo. It's your boy Cash Sinatra. I appreciate the intro. Beautiful intro. I appreciate that. Yeah, man, I'm happy to be here. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
No, of course. Most def. Mark and I are happy to have you, bro. Before we get started, though, Cash, the people out there, for those who are not privy and aware to what you do, and how you get down, could you please give our audience a 30-second pitched elevator synopsis about what you do and all that jazz?
Sure. Cash Sinatra, hip hop artist, philanthropist, community servant. I started in the hip hop world, and eventually I realized that it's a lot greater than me, because I always wanted to be a great rapper. But that after a while became a little stale, and it grew into wanting to reach out to others and enlighten others and show others ways that they probably haven't seen in their everyday life. So that's where I'm at now. That's what I've grown into.
Excellent. Oh man, we're really, really again happy to have you, and happy that you scheduled a certain amount of time in your day to talk to us. Ladies and gents, this guy's a very busy man. So for the fact that he actually took time to sit down and talk to us, one, it shows that he truly appreciates what we do, especially in regards to the branding of Flowered Concrete, and he truly has the admiration and respect of me. And yeah, that was a little bit of a flex, ladies and gentlemen, but that's how you get down, all right? Cool. For sure. We want to make sure we're really, really respectful of your time, so we want to get right into it. We got a couple topics for you to tackle on today and kind of give knowledge and wisdom to the people as a special guest wise guy. You ready?
100%.
Excellent. Mark, you ready too?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So I'm going to actually allow you, Cash, to kind of come in with this and kind of set the tone. So our first segment for today's episode, Too Cool for School, is called Business for Creatives. All right, Business for Creatives. Cash, how important is it for creatives, especially musicians, artists such as yourself, especially to all the young kids out there who are aspiring to become rappers and to get into the business, right, the music entertainment industry? How important is it for youngins out there to be very well knowledgeable and privy to how business operates with music? You can't have music without business, right?
Oh man, absolutely. And I actually tell my youth this all the time. Anybody I encounter, I tell them that the creative part is 50% of the battle, and in 2019 it might be less than that. It might be like 30% of the battle, because of how much media means and all of that. Mm-hmm. And media itself is now a business. It always was a business, but it's now more a business than anything, because you could go on your Instagram and do some ads and get your own marketing going. Like, they're giving you the tools to be your own marketing person. So that, for one, is why it's extremely important, because everybody has social media now, and now they're incorporating having your own marketing within social media. So if you could understand how marketing works a little more, that would even help you if you just have Instagram. But outside of that, business is super important within the creative aspect, because you got to reach people, and in order to reach people, you gotta have some type of, like I said, marketing or some type of branding, and branding is also business. That's something that people don't really take their time to do. Sit down and understand who they're trying to reach, what demographic they're trying to reach, and who they're speaking to, because everybody speaks to a different audience, and you got to tap into that audience. They're not just going to come to you. You got to go to them, and that's where that business comes in.
Right. Now, Cash, before I throw it over to Mark to provide his insight on this topic, I want to make sure that the audience out there is really clear, right? This guy right here, ladies and gents, this isn't no bum. This ain't no scrub. Could you please provide to the audience some of your accolades, and as well as some of your recent accomplishments on your resume? Please, the ones that I know about, the ones that we all know about out here, let them know.
It's crazy. I used to be bashful about this stuff, but I recently told myself I gotta give myself a lot more credit. So I've been on Sway in the morning. I've been interviewed by Sway. There's a bit of freestyle on there. I've been on Hot 97. Who's Next? I've been featured on Huffington Post Live, Black Voices. I've performed in front of 1,500 people at March for Our Lives in North Charleston, North Carolina, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And that was iconic, because no disrespect to anybody, but I had thousands of Caucasian people with the black fist in their ear during my performance. That was crazy. But there's that. I'm a Sprite Rate artist. I'm sponsored by Sprite Rate now. I was on BET Jams last year. I have my business program is officially in my business program called Business Behind Music is an official vendor in the New York City library system. I'm working on getting it in the Department of Education system to be a vendor there. So, and I'm working on getting my program into 2 high schools right now, having meetings and things like that. So there's a lot happening.
Excellent. You know what was one of my favorite things I've seen from you recently? Well, not recently as in recently, but like a couple of years ago. It was the cypher you did with B.O.B. I think it was sponsored and hosted by DJ Envy, man. I forget the name of it, but that was so dope.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
That was I won the Instagram contest, and DJ Envy had picked me to be part of I forgot what it's called, but it was by Vivo and Greyhound and me, B.O.B. and a couple other artists. It's still on my YouTube right now.
You see, I had to throw you the alley-oop. I know you forgot to mention that. I wanted to make sure that the people know. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you hear the accolades and you hear this guy talking about implementing programs and bringing programs of music into schools. We're going to talk a lot about that today and how important that is into investing within our own black communities. Again, normally we don't do rappers on this show, but this guy is more than a rapper, right? Mark, yeah, for sure. Mark, if you don't mind coming in with this, Mark, what you do, you know, you're not an artist, you're not a rapper, but you're still a creative, right? When you do what you do in terms of investing or working with your business in terms of selling parrots and marketing and doing all that you do with Mark's Parrots or any of your current investments and endeavors, there has to be a form of strategy behind it, right? There has to be a form of creativity that goes into marketing and promoting and pushing your product. Could you, and I'm not just saying speak for artists, Mark, but if you'd like to contribute to Artistry Talk and what you see out there in today's current climate in society and the mainstream, be sure to add that. But could you please talk to the audience out there, the wise ones, and let them know how important it is to have business as a creative into the work that you do in terms of what you specialize in?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I can totally agree with what this brother said when it comes to, you know, it's almost as if it's almost only 10 or 20% talent, and the rest is strategy. Because you have so many people out here in, you know, the music industry that sound exactly the same. And there's people that are famous that's, you know, have this similar sound, and there's people that are underground that have the similar sound. But the only difference is how they were able to show value and market themselves. Because we tend to, like, let's say we're an artist and we try to be a bit more closed-minded and focus on a certain group. Like, I'm only going to market towards, you know, certain type of rap, and they're not open-minded enough to change their perspective and target a larger audience. It's a matter of just strategy. You know, you want to be intentional with who you're targeting, and you want to make sure that group that you're targeting is a large group, because profit is always the main goal, in my opinion. So I really do think that it's mostly strategy than anything, because there's so many people doing the same exact thing, and it's almost like you have to understand to a certain degree a lot like psychology, like how the market thinks, how the people think, what they want to consume. Because if you understand the market, you know what to feed them for the largest amount of profit or attention or whatever the goal is. So I can totally agree with what both of you guys are saying when it comes to talent being a very small percentage of it, and it's more strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Excellent. I love that. So we're gonna segue into this question right here. The first question, well, the first true question of the day in regards to Too Cool for School. Cash, I'm gonna throw this your way, all right? Because what you're doing seems to align with this question very well. How important is arts education in school? Again, how important is arts education in school? And maybe you can talk a little bit about your experience implementing the program, your programs into schools, why you started it, and why do you feel as if there's a need for it? So how important is arts education in school nowadays?
I believe it's super important, mainly because when you hear art in school, people think colored pencils and construction paper. And typically when you go into the school, that's what you're seeing. And they don't expound on what the other aspects of art are, like let's say music or even dance or these other anything else outside of drawing and things like that. That's what people that's the education system tends to focus on, arts and crafts. And that's why with my program, my other aspect of my program, I have a music production curriculum where last year I actually implemented it in my after school program. And what I did was I had the kids take steps like first they learned the importance of wording or like colors in like business names, like let's say for Circuit City, how there's with that alliteration in there with the C's or whatever, or there's like Best Buy with the B's, and then the colors with it. I started there, and then you would get into poetry. I showed them how to write a poem, and then after that, I showed them how to identify the different aspects of a song, the bridge, the hook, the verse, and then after that, they'll get to make it a beat, and then make the lyrics, and then eventually, I'll bring the equipment in and have them record. And all of these things are not in your everyday education system. Maybe they are somewhere. I'm sure they are somewhere. I'm not saying not happening anywhere, but it's not to the point where it's a widespread thing, and I think it needs to be widespread so people or the youth can have more options and open up their brain outside of what their parents are telling them to do and what the schools are telling them to do.
Absolutely. I'm gonna hop in there real quick, if that's okay, Mark, and then I'll throw it right back to you afterwards. And contribute to this discussion, because this is definitely where I feel as if I specialize in. So as it's already been mentioned on this podcast, I'm also a poet. I'm a hip hop poet in particular in regards to what I do, because my poems, my stanzas, they come across as bars the way I perform, recite, and spit my poetry. And again, I'm a huge hip hop advocate and connoisseur. I love hip hop. Hip hop pretty much raised me, in addition to obviously my parents, my family, and everything else, and school, whatnot. But as a current teacher right now, I know for sure that I'm one of the rare teachers that kids can really appreciate and look up to, because since I'm an artist, I'm coming into the background of education and teaching with the background in artistry, right? So not only am I teaching what the curriculum has planned for me to teach, a lot of that stuff might be disinteresting to the kids and whatnot, and they have no interest in it at all. So with me, my background as an artist, as a creative, I implement that, within my learning, right? So there will be various segments of my lessons where, for example, for the do now, or a certain bit that we when I say bit, I mean a passage or an article we'll read, and I'm like, you know what? Let me throw this in here. I've thrown everything at my students from Kendrick Lamar songs, J. Cole, J.I.D., and Ludacris. I can go on and on and on. But what's interesting is how the kids always remember whatever it is. For example, how we have in terms of the state curriculums, we have our objectives. We've always had that, right? Our learning objectives. Students will be able to write this. Students will be able to do that. Students will be able to construct a poem or whatever. It's so funny because if I'm trying to throw a theme and a message at my students, they might struggle with that depending on their learning abilities. But if I throw a music video in there and they watch it and I say, how does this fit into the theme of despair or love or hate or gang violence, whatnot? Just by wrapping that video, they can actually make the connection now between what I'm trying to teach them and what the video itself is showing them. So because of that, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing test scores go up. I'm seeing test scores improve because of that, you know. And then there's also a unit I always like to do in February during Black History Month where I have the kids read a short book of poems, and then I have them write their own poems, and then I have them perform. Like I create a school event, like a poetry slam, where I have them actually perform in a poetry slam open mic style setting for a grade, you know. And I'm like, and a lot of them are try to get out of it, like, oh, I don't want to do this, but I'm like, no, you're doing this for a grade. What that's doing for them, man, that's instilling confidence with them. That's giving them, you know, the ability to write better. That's giving them the talent and more so the skill of public speaking. Because a lot of times, Cash and Mark, a lot of people might think what you do, Mark, or what you do, Cash, isn't public speaking, but a lot of that is public speaking, man. Sitting down, doing interviews, you know, talking to different folks, networking, rapping, whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Like that, a lot of that comes with that. And I feel as if in this technological advanced age that we live in now with social media, kids are losing a lot of that. So with programs such as yours or what I'm doing in the classroom, I think is very important. Mark, what do you got to say about that, man? I'll let you sound off.
Yeah, totally, man. I can truly appreciate, you know, what you brothers are doing in the classroom when it comes to, you know, increasing creativity with the children and allowing them to express themselves. Because, in my opinion, school is made to limit creativity. You know, school is made to create the same student, to push out the same exact type of person to create more employees. That's really the whole purpose of school, just to keep the pipeline going to either prison or the workplace. So, you know, we have this long 8-9 hour day for these children, and we say, you know, why isn't there any creativity? Why isn't there anything to stimulate their minds? Well, we're getting them ready for the workplace where it's not fun. You know, we're getting them ready for a desk so that they can sit for 8 hours and then type away for the entire day. So we don't want to get them accustomed to fun because work is not fun. We want to get them accustomed to boring and just a monotonous day, you know, something that's repetitive. And that is to make sure that they will seamlessly fit into the workplace. But, you know, I feel like they would never implement, you know, things like this, you know, large scale, because that would totally disrupt what they're trying to do.
Right.
It's like, if we get them thinking outside the box, that would make them not want to be an employee. And if we do that, who's going to work for us? So I truly believe that it's groundbreaking to see it, you know, getting into the education system, but it's just against what they want done.
Right.
So it's a tough one if we're trying to get this like in every school in America. But hey, I mean, if we can affect one child, man, that's enough for me, man. So it really doesn't matter. You know, it's just as long as some are affected, that's just a beautiful thing. It's a truly beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
It's funny you say that.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Cash. Go ahead. Go ahead.
My big goal within my thing is starting as a, cause I understand that you gotta take steps. My goal with starting my program was actually, my end goal, I mean, is to have my own facility, my own after school program, to where people are coming to me and I'm not going to the schools anymore. You know, so I wanna have my own curriculum, have my own professors or my own instructors, I mean, and things like that, and then have it almost like a franchise type thing.
Exactly. Yeah, that's wonderful, man.
So,
sure, man.
No, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I always like to say, you know, it's a beautiful thing when we have our own, because they can't stop that. You know, they can't stop someone from, you know, paying for what we offer and providing their child such value. Because I always like to say, you know, public school is free. You know, how can we complain when it's free? I mean, I've never gotten something free and said, wow, I got such a good value. You know, I got such a good free. You know?
Yeah.
What do you expect?
Right.
It's free, man. So if they give you a you know, excuse my language, a bullshit product, you know, when it comes to the education system, we have to remember, man, this is free. And free is never great. It's always just enough to get by.
Yeah. And then you saying that just reminds me of now I'm in a position where I understand why it's free, and I understand the budgeting, and that every student walking through that door is a dollar amount. Like every kid is like, okay, this is another $1,000 coming into the school, and that's how they're looking at us.
Right. Wow.
Whether it's education or prison, you know.
Right.
Hey, school to prison pipeline. That's a fact right there. So fellas, let me throw some of this information at you guys. So this isn't really a question, but I just want to throw some quotes out there, some information, and I want you all to respond to it. Cash, I want you to respond first, if that's okay, and then Mark, you could respond afterwards. So. What I recently came up with, so I was reading through Fast Company. I was on fastcompany.com's website, and so Fast Company says that the U.S. Department of Education's 2020 budget proposal puts, quote-unquote, arts in education on its list of programs to be eliminated completely, deeming that it has limited impact in all public schools within America. But then, get this, so you have, great celebrities and rappers such as Chance the Rapper, who a few years ago, back in 2017, Chance created a new arts fund for Chicago public schools and raised nearly $2.2 million through his new Chance Arts and Lit Fund program in order to keep that going and sustain it, because they were trying to eliminate arts education completely in the Chicago public school system. Now, we all know places, cities and places like Chicago are really at risk because there aren't a lot of things for the youth to do outside of school hours, which often lends them to getting in trouble, being involved in activities such as gang violence, drugs, and things that they should not be dabbling or intertwining themselves within, right? But that's a natural thing to me. I think if you don't have any programs to sustain kids and they come from low income based backgrounds, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have a lot of kids who might not be playing a sport or might not have some kind of positive outlook of an activity to engage in, doing things that they should not be involved in. But again, the U.S. Department hopes by 2020 with their budget proposal act to cut arts education, deeming that it has limited impact within public schools in this country. And then again, you have people like Chance, trying to combat that by raising $2.2 million through his new Chance Arts and Lit Fund to keep things like that going in Chicago. What do you guys think about that, Cash? I'll start with you first.
I think that's crazy, first of all. And two things come to mind in particular. One is that that aspect of the education, arts and creativity, that can be very disruptive, because what arts and creativity does, it gives people mental freedom, and it gives people a way of thinking outside of the box. And like Mark was saying earlier, they don't want us to do that. So that came to my mind immediately. So I believe that's some type of hidden agenda. Another thing that comes to mind is that there aren't a lot of people or instructors out there that are passionate about these things. So I think that's where it starts too. Like, cause I'm an assistant director at my after school program now. I will go into a classroom and see one of my staff teaching a class, and I could see the kids' reaction. And the kids would be, let's say one person teaching the class, and the kids, they're not interested because of how the person is instructing the class. And I come in and I teach that same lesson with a different type of drive and a different type of passion. The kids are way more interactive. So I find that even when I'm in the schools, these kids, these teachers are saying things like, well, I'm collecting a check, so whether you listen to me or not, I'm still getting paid. I've heard that many times, and I'm still hearing people say that to this day. So I think that we need to focus on the people that are instructing these classes more so than the actual classes.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. Mark.
Yeah, definitely. I can totally agree with that for sure. It does really fall back on the instructor, because if they're not motivated, how can they motivate? So that becomes a really interesting subject. And another thing, when they say that these programs are not effective with the children, they never tell you what it's not effective with. Is it not effective with making them better employees? Is it not effective with, their behavior? They never tell you what it is. I need someone to explain to me what is it, how is it not effective, and what is the intention? What is the goal? They never tell you that. That's what makes me question it. And then we live in a nation that prints money. We literally print money because the dollar is backed by nothing. So how can we not have enough funding for these programs in a nation that prints money, where they can commit trillions of dollars to a military budget, but you have someone like Chance the Rapper, you said he put together $2 million for the program?
$2.2 million exactly, yes.
And that's peanuts. That's peanuts. What the hell can you do with $2 million? You know how many children there are in Chicago? Yeah. It's crazy.
That's true.
It's like it's crazy because they could commit millions of dollars if they'd like to, but they just don't see any benefit to them. And if it doesn't benefit the nation, it's a bad investment. If we just look at it from like an investment perspective, I can make more money putting low quality teachers into a school to make children, less productive in society and have them turn into prisoners than for me to create artists, because we all know in the private prison industry, every prisoner is worth about $50,000 a year to the prison. So why should I give them programs to make them more creative when I could just have them go straight down to the prison, or just to become a productive employee to my business? So it's like it's not a win-win situation for them. So they're like, why would I waste money having them be creative when I could just keep this pipeline going to prison or to the workplace?
Yeah.
It's just a bad investment. Why would I invest money into the kids if it's easier for me to just have them go straight to where I want them to go?
Right.
So it's a tough one.
I wanted to throw some more information out there to you all from Fast Company, if you guys don't mind. It's actually in regards to what we're talking about now. But Cash, I think you have. I'm not too sure. You've partnered. I don't know in regards to your program, but you've partnered and collaborated with the library at Cambria Heights, right?
I was in talks with Cambria Heights. I was in Jamaica, right by the Ave.
Oh, okay, you're right by the Ave. Well, because I know, me and you, in terms of that space, we move in similar spaces. I know I've gotten a chance to do my Flowered Concrete creative writing and poetry program at Cambria Heights Library, and they have a beautiful teen space in their basement where they have a recording studio and everything. As of right now, as of right now, I don't know if they use it as much because they currently don't have a lot of vendors coming in to host programs there, which obviously, Cash, I think that's a perfect outlet and avenue for you, and I'm sure you'll attack that real soon and get in there. But so I wanted to bring this bring this news up to you both, and I wanted to get your response on it. Mark, I want you to respond first, and then Cash, you can sound off afterwards. So again, going back to Fast Company, so PS 55, right? It's a school in the Bronx. PS 55. They have a partnership right now with Belova name brand watch, right? Belova. So PS55 and Belova are getting together the first ever recording studio in a New York City public school. All right. So right now, Belova and PS55 are creating this first ever recording studio inside of a New York City public school. And if I'm not mistaken, it is slated to launch officially. The recording studio in the basement is going to open in the spring of 2020. The school hosted an event earlier this month announcing its plans and giving a preview of what students can expect, learning about music production, laying down their own tracks, and gaining a deeper understanding of hip-hop's history, all in the neighborhood that was hip-hop's birthplace, no less. And it says here, it helps the kids to understand that there are other careers in hip-hop. We don't knock our community, but many are not going to be doctors and lawyers. Some may be promoters, some may be producers, some may be artist managers. There are so many careers in hip-hop that we're trying to highlight, because at this point, the truth of the matter is that they're too exposed to drugs and crime and gangs, as I said earlier. Being that the school is around 4 housing projects, it's like they don't even have a chance. So it's interesting that I bring this up to you both. It's funny because I pretty much talked about a lot of this stuff earlier. So what I found interesting about this piece was the talks of having students not just learn how to record and lay down a track, I guess that'll be part of it. But this person, Mr. LeBron, who is running this program, saying that, some students may grow up to be promoters, producers, artists, managers, and agents and things like that. So there are, many careers in hip hop that we're trying to highlight, and I'm like, wow, like, I don't think growing up, if we wanted to become rappers, that we were thinking that you could be other thing outside of the rapper. But I'm going to start off with Mark, and then again, Cash sound off. What do you guys think about this program, especially with it being in line and partnered with a name brand such as Belova? Do you think that's something to kind of double cross your eyes at? What do you think? So again, it's PS55. Yes, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. PS55 and Belova partnered.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing, man. I mean, I think the children in that school would benefit greatly from that. Just being exposed to something other than, just being an artist, seeing that there's different areas that you can get into and still be involved in the industry. Mm-hmm. That being said, I mean, every company has a PR department, and they make PR moves.
Right.
So they put that in place. I mean, are we impressed? No. You said one, right?
Yeah, just one this spring at the school.
Yeah, one. I mean, I would be impressed if they said, every public school in Queens got a recording studio or something like that. But I mean, one. I mean, what is that? An experiment? What is what is it? If it affects one school, I mean, you can't change the world with one school. What is their intention then? If you're trying to change something, you're going to do it on a large scale. You're not going to, give a homeless guy a sandwich and say good luck. You're going to really provide him with something that can make a change. Maybe you open up a center. Maybe you go see him every day and provide him with resources. But to just do one school, that's a PR move. Now, if you said every school in Queens, you're making a difference if you do every school in Queens. But one school, I mean, I can get 10 people together and we could probably build one in one school.
So what you're saying is, Mark, that had this initiative been launched, happening at all the schools in the Bronx or Queens or all like 5 boroughs or whatever, like let's say they started with one borough and they launched it at all the schools, would you say that it would be less of a PR move if that was the case?
I mean, it's always going to be a PR move, but I'm saying that it would make a real difference at a lot more schools than just one. Mm-hmm. That's like me, like I said, the homeless guy in the sandwich scenario. Mm-hmm. I give a homeless guy a sandwich and I take a picture of me handing it to him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just like, who are you doing it for?
Right.
If you really wanted to make a difference, you would have fed 50 homeless people instead of taking a picture with one and saying, look, I'm giving it to him. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
We really, we just always have to keep our eyes open with these things and see what's really going on, because that's not making a difference in one school.
Cash.
It's just not, it's not big enough. It's like, it's just not big. If you're a company and you're saying we want to make a difference, you're going to commit some real capital. You're not going to go to one school and just
that's true.
One station in there. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm ungrateful or.
No, I get what you're saying though.
Just negative. Yeah, but it's just like, come on, you're a large company and you did one school.
No,
it's just.
I get that. Cash, your thoughts.
First, I want to say going off what he's talking about this way. I watch Shark Tank a lot. Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorite shows.
We just brought it up last week. Yeah.
I see how they cut deals a lot, and upon hearing that, it sounds like the Belova is a watch company, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so first of all, the watch company being involved with it, that's a little weird. First of all,
that's what I thought.
Because unless there's somebody in that company that's involved within the music industry or something like that, I don't understand that collaboration. Mm-hmm. So first, it sounds like they might have came in and been like, yeah, this has a market, but we're not wholeheartely sold on it. So let's see what it does here, and then if the numbers are good, we'll spread it around. Not really caring about the impact of it or anything like that. Probably a numbers game with it. So I do agree with you, Mark. And on the other side of it, I also think that it's a great thing because it aligns with what I'm doing 100%. So like, if this does start a trickle down effect and it starts going to other places, that'll be great. I just would hope that the intentions behind it all would be great from the heart. You know?
Right.
I
Kat,
totally agree with that.
yeah, for sure. Cash, if you know, this is a perfect segment to segue into your program and what you do. You know, we normally don't spotlight people on the show. They're usually more so contributors to our topics, man. But again, Mark and I, we truly value and appreciate what you're doing in our communities, and infusing a lot of this learning and productivity to our youth. You know, and I'm always going to be a strong advocate and a believer in that. So, could you please, inform us in regards to, how you got started with your business behind the music. I'm sorry if I'm flubbing the name right. Maybe you can just give us a spiel. Tell me, like, what's the background? How did you get started? What's the name of your program? And exactly what you plan to achieve, and in regards to the purpose of your program in schools.
Okay, gotcha. So it's business behind music, and it started with my guy Joshua Walker. You know Joshua Walker?
Of course, yeah. I've worked with Josh. Yeah.
Right.
Shout out to Josh.
So shout out to Josh, man, great guy.
Yeah.
So Josh always goes to like schools and libraries and stuff like that, and he'll be talking, and like he'll get like artists and stuff to come in and like speak to the kids and like do little activities with them, things like that. So he reached out to me, or actually he posted something, and I reached out to him. Probably back in 2019, probably 2015, 2016, and he was doing a few things. He brought me to a school, but this one main one, he brought me to a library in Far Rockaway, the teen library in Far Rockaway, and we did I think it was 4 weeks, one day out of the week every week, and we were there, and we would speak to them about like what they want to do in life, and like give pointers, and like speak about things that we're doing, and he would have activities in between, and towards the end he would perform. But when I went to this one particular place in Far Rockaway, I just felt and saw the impact that the hip hop had, and they had like a makeshift studio that my guy DJ G Money, he's actually over there too. Shout out to G Money.
Shout.
Where they have the studio back there, and the kids were recording and stuff like that, and everybody was so inspired. And when I was there, like, I really provided a big motivation. So that just sparked a whole wave of thoughts, because I always wanted to be in the community, but I didn't really know how I wanted to go about it. And I didn't really know how to incorporate it with what I'm doing, because I didn't want it to be separate from what I'm doing. I don't want to be rapping here and then I'm doing something where it's something that's just taking me in a different route. So whatever. I got that idea from being out there, and I'm just like, yo, I wanna provide the youth with knowledge that I now have, that I got through literally footwork and going around the city, socializing with people, networking, getting my own business cards done, talking to people, giving my business cards out, meeting different people, and like I literally met the guys from Rap Genius at a show.
Oh wow!
Ago, where I was just talking. And this is the first year they launched Rap Genius. And I told him I was an artist, and like, yo, we got this new site called Rap Genius, where we think it's gonna be the next big thing for the lyrics, and we're gonna be breaking the lyrics down.
Wow!
He's like, and we'll love to have you as a verified artist on there. So like, just me meeting somebody in the spot, it got me verified on Rap Genius till this day, and like it's super cool. So just little things like that, like I say that to say I have like a portion in my program where it's networking etiquette. So I provide different tools and different ways to go about networking and where to start with it, because I didn't know where to start. And a lot of artists come to me like to ask me, well, how do I go about this networking thing, or what do I do? Like, what should I bring, or how should I approach it? So like, I even have that. I have email etiquette, different things of that nature. So the big goal of it is to show different aspects of the music industry where you don't really need a talent. You don't need to be an artist or a producer or a DJ to make some type of money in the music industry. Just like that program was saying at DS55. So that was my whole thing, and to this day that's what it is. But then the other side of it is I have my music production, where I actually teach the ones that do want to do music I'll give that whole spiel, and I have a curriculum for that I built, and I have my traveling studio equipment where after the whole thing they get to record and things like that and hear a finished product that sounds almost radio ready.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the big goal is to, like I said earlier, is have my facility, have multiple facilities around the nation where it's just showing the game. You know what I mean? And it's partially inspired by my guy Nipsey Hussle.
Mm-hmm.
That was my idol. That was my brother. That was my spirit brother. And he was doing a lot of things in his community, especially with the youth and the STEM joint.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
really like STEM like that, but
yeah, where me too.
But I've seen where he was going with it, and that's really, you know what I mean. I feel like I'm rambling. I hope not.
No, you good. Yeah, no, excellent, man. No, for sure. We appreciate it because again, oftentimes we have our guests come on the show and tackle our topics in which they specialize in, but we never usually allow them to give a spiel in regards to what they do and how they're trying to provide that impact or make that change. So I think it adds to the validation of what you're doing, and they appreciate that, especially getting the knowledge and the wisdom as to how and the means to how to go about and get it. So we're about to transition to our second segment, but before we do, I have a question for both of you. Mark, we've actually been talking about this over the past couple of episodes, you and I. So it'll be interesting to get your take on it as well. But I'm going to actually let Cash sound off on this first. And I think he's the right person to go to it first because I want to have him focus more so on the artist perspective and the musician perspective, and then and as well as the business perspective too. But I want you to more so focus on your own perspective in terms of who you are and what you do. Shout out to DJBooth.net, man. I've been rocking with DJ Booth for years, man. Like any true if you're not really about hip hop if you don't love DJ Booth. So shout out to them. Hopefully one of these days I could possibly have Yo and some of those folks on here. But check this out, right? So again, like I said, I love DJ Booth, and one time earlier this year, they had an article that talked about rappers rejecting code switching, right? Rappers rejecting code switching. And I want to shout out the writer to make sure he gets his credit. Dylan Green, all right? Dylan Green. So shout out to you, Dylan. And so basically Dylan Green was talking about how artists, and he specifically focused on artists such as 2 Chainz, Nipsey, actually, God bless the dead, and as well as Kendrick, in regards to how they maneuver, and like they're really big, right? These are really big artists, but like within like the spaces they maneuver in, they don't change, they don't switch up and conform to what the mainstream expects from them. And when I say mainstream, I don't mean like mainstream music. I mean like mainstreamers working in the industry that are still within that corporate space. And as you all probably know, recently, as of I think it was 2018, Kendrick Lamar won the Pulitzer Prize for Damn. And man, the Pulitzer, that's a prestigious award. Like we're talking about an award that focuses on it's like one of the highest achievements you can get in terms of literature and music, and as well as all types of arts, from film to painting, all those things. And when Kendrick won his award, it was pretty interesting because what came of it was the fact that here's this young guy from Compton, right? And when he won, he didn't code switch at all. You know what I'm saying? He literally just said, and I quote, this is from Kendrick himself when he won his award. He said, "It's an honor. Been writing my whole life. So to get this type of recognition is beautiful." Now, mind you, right? If I'm an English teacher, and if I had another English teacher, hypothetically in a situation, let's say if it was a white woman, she probably, no offense, he or she might get offended saying, like, okay, so we're giving Pulitzer Prizes out to anybody now, especially someone who uses incorrect grammatical speech, such as "been writing my whole life." Now, we all know that, we come from communities, right? Like such as myself, I come from South Jamaica, Queens. Mark, you're from Rosedale, and Cash, I know you're originally from Brooklyn, but if you could just tell me exactly which hoods you come from, both in Brooklyn and as well as in Queens, to add to my point.
Yeah, so Brooklyn, I'm from East New York, and Brooklyn and Queens. I'm like Northside, Francis Lewis and London area.
Excellent. Shout out to Northside. Yeah, so all those places, right? From Northside Queens to Southside Jamaica Queens, where I'm from, to Rosedale Queens, where Mark is from, to East New York, where you're originally from, Cash. You know, kids have this way of talking, you know, that people deem, is incorrect, right? They're talking slang, right? But in all aspects of it, like when you really think about it, right? The slaves, when they came on those slave boats 300, 400 years ago, you know, to the white folks, they weren't talking correctly, right? But at the end of the day, this was not their land, right? They were forced here. They were forced to come here, to work here, and to provide some kind of monetary gains in the form of productivity through slavery, through means of labor. Now, I'm not going to get into that because that's another topic for another episode. We're not talking about that today. But the reason why I bring that up is, again, like, what makes improper speech? Like, why is that a factor, you know, in regards to the spaces we walk in, whether that be hip hop or whether that be, you know, someone such as myself who's an educator, or someone who might walk within the worlds or the realms of law. You know, Mark, we were talking about it the other day. We were talking about conforming, and we were talking about again, this idea of code switching. So my question first, I'm gonna start off with my question first. I'm gonna start off with Cash. Is should code switching be a thing for Black youth? So when I say Black youth, I don't just mean Black youth in school, but I also mean people such as yourself, you know, who are, you know, ascending and who are coming up and who are, you know, getting more into their craft, right? Like we all know, you know, Jay-Z is not who he is by just default in terms of his music, right? Like he had a lot of help to get to where he's at, and he's prospering as a businessman now. So should code switching be a thing for Black youth, especially in this climate as creatives? What do you think, Cash? Do you code switch at all when you're around certain people? I think we'd love to get your perspective.
Well, I would say first of all that if I'm in a social environment, I'm 100%. There's no code switching involved. But like, say I'm writing an email or I have a meeting of some sort, there is some code switching involved, because I feel like there's a universal language. If we speak English, there's a universal language that we can all understand. But now, if you have slang involved when you're speaking to certain people, you cannot come across a certain way. You can't come across, you can't deliver your message the same way because of them not understanding. And I would say that if people don't understand you, they will have doubts in like your abilities, or like your doubts in like just trusting you, period. So like in business, I think there should be code switching involved. It's not like you're taking away from who you are or anything like that. It's more so just getting across your message to a widespread of people opposed to a small box. I wouldn't want to put it into even a race or anything like that, because you have, let's say, a white person from the South that has their own slang or whatever, but when they go into a certain building, they would have to code switch themselves. So, yeah.
Excellent. Mark?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, you know, because if you're trying to navigate in a space where that certain group of people speaks a certain way, they may not be able to understand the slang that you speak, you know, where you're from and growing up, the language that you're accustomed to. So it's like, if you know for sure that they're not going to 100% understand your slang, using that slang will just create confusion, and when you confuse someone that you're trying to do business with, they'll doubt your capabilities, they'll doubt your competence. So I think it only makes sense to, you know, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. You know, you want to get your message across clearly, and you want it to be a level playing field. Mm-hmm. Because if everyone's speaking the same way, we all respect each other for the most part. There's no quick judgments, because if I'm in a business meeting and we're all speaking, let's say, you know, I hate to say proper, you know, but we're all speaking, business. I don't even know how to describe it, but you know, the whole code switching thing. Mm-hmm. If someone walks in the room and they start speaking slang, even if I know what he's talking about, am I going to accept that, or am I going to wait for him to speak clearly? It's a tough one, mm-hmm. because if you're in that business meeting, someone comes in speaking slang, you know exactly what he's talking about. Do you converse with him? Mm-hmm. Because if you do, and the people around you see you speaking that way, they're going to say, wait, he's one of them too. Hold on. Now they're judging you because you speak his language.
Right.
You know what I mean? And,
yeah.
And some people can say, "Oh, you're an Uncle Tom. You're a whatever the word is." I'm trying to survive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm in a business setting, I don't know if I can use that language that I know, because then everybody around me is gonna look at me crazy, and then they're gonna say, "Wait, if he knows how to speak to that guy, he must be from somewhere really bad." And I doubt his capabilities now. Or he may try to skim money off the table. He may try to steal from me. I don't really trust his judgment. So I don't want to, if I'm on the bottom already. All of us are on the bottom as black people trying to build ourselves, build our families economically. I don't need any roadblocks. And if I know how to get to the top, I'm not going to, switch up so that I can make someone else feel better. I'm trying to elevate myself. I'm not trying to spare any feelings. I'm looking out for me and my family. So I really can't. I'm sorry, man. I'm gonna have to leave that brother hanging. I can't speak to him in that way in a business setting. I just can't do it.
That's interesting. I want to oppose and refute your perspective and claim by throwing this Cash's way and putting Cash in a tight spot. Cash, my question to you is that necessarily true, what Mark is saying? And the reason why I'm saying that, and I want to talk about you in terms of your profession and what you do as an artist, as a musician, as a businessman. Is that necessarily true? Because when you see people, like 2 Chainz, or Meek, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to those guys. When you see people like 2 Chainz or Meek sitting courtside at the game with the owners, you know what I'm saying, of the Philadelphia 76ers or the Atlanta Hawks, you know what I'm saying, and they're there just being themselves, and you could tell, like, while they're talking, I mean, shame on me, maybe I shouldn't be saying this, and maybe I have no right to be saying this, but it seems as if they're comfortable just being themselves and having conversations with them. Do you think there's any code switching in that? Because, like, I've even seen some documentaries on Noisy or Vice with 2 Chainz talking to white folks, and he seems to be pretty much himself, like comfortable, not conforming at all. What do you think?
That part of it, I think those are more comfortable situations to where they can be themselves. Like if you're sitting courtside with the owner, but if you're with that same owner and you're in the office with their colleagues and stuff, I'm sure it'll be a little different. Like when 2 Chainz does his segments on the joint, I seen those, and I like them, and I feel like they allow him to be himself because the camera's on and they know what's going on. They know that they're,
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Cool. Excellent, gentlemen. We're halfway there. I wanted to transition to our next segment of the episode, which is called School for Creatives. All right, I'm gonna say it one more time. School for Creatives, our second segment for today's show. So when I say School for Creatives, there's no question here. I just want us to kind of just sound off. How do we get to where we want to get to as creatives? So I know, Cash, with you started rapping at a very, very young age. Was there a certain amount of time that you had, like, even if it wasn't, even if you don't count your education within the K through 12 education, your education within the K through 12 education system as a means to an end, or serving as a role to you catapulting and starting your career as a musician, as an artist. How can students of the game, or kids that need to become students of the game, how can they acquire the amount of education that is needed, right? So get some form of schooling, whether it's through a conventional sense or unconventional sense, in order to become a creative, such as being a rapper and a musician and an artist. How do you go about obtaining that is pretty much my question. What do you do?
Okay, so this is an interesting question, because this is actually I incorporate this within my program. So I call this aspect of it homework. So there's a few different things you can do. You can watch a lot of YouTube videos. There's a bunch of videos on different aspects of the world. Like whether you wanna mix, I personally learned how to mix YouTube videos. So whether you wanna learn how to mix, or whether you wanna learn how to write a certain way or do different flows, there's several different YouTube videos on how to do these things. And also, I would say that documentaries is big. Watching documentaries of the greats that did it and how they went about it, because that's always important. Not everybody's path is the same, but you can always take from other people's paths, and that's what I've done. Studying different artists and how they did it and where they came from, and that's a big one too. That's really a big one. Watching, becoming a student of the game, literally like watching these people how they did it and things like that. You said how can they repeat it one more time?
Yeah, so the last thing I said is how can they go about starting the career? How can they go about obtaining this information that's needed in order for them to catapult themselves off the ground and get right into it? So basically, yeah, so through all this schooling and stuff, what's the next step after that? What do they do?
Right. Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, there's a bunch of research like I was saying before. And then you gotta have people gotta be able to want to be taught, because a lot of people don't want to reach out for a mentor and things like that,
right.
And they look down on that. So I would say you have to reach the person that you're closest to, that you can literally touch, and like get them to put you under the wing, like get them to take you to the studio, get them to take you to a video shoot. That's if you want to do music, or if you want to do video, if you want to be a videographer, find somebody that's doing videos around your way. Be their shadow. Tell them you want to work for free. You got to work for free a lot before you get money. So I would say go to your videographer. Yo, I'll be your V camera, and go invest in yourself. Yo, I just got this camera right here. You don't gotta take me, but I'll be your V camera and let me shoot with you. Learn from that person, and then in turn with that, eventually they probably give you opportunities. That's also a big one, because I have young boys that come to me all the time, and they say they want to do things. One of my guys in particular, Nicholas, shouts to Nicholas, and
shouts to Nick.
And when I'm going to the studio, he'll literally come with me to the studio. He'll watch me do my thing. If I have a show, he'll want to come to my show. He'll watch me perform and all that. So that's something that I would say. That's a big one for real.
So you really got to be a student to the game in order to do your thing and prosper.
Literally.
For sure. Mark?
I totally agree with that. I mean, I think one thing a lot of people have a problem with is just humbling yourself and understanding that you have to pay your dues before someone really puts you in a situation for you to be successful. Especially if you're trying to gain entry into an industry, you definitely have to. You got to sweep the floor, you got to mop the floor, and then until someone really extends you that opportunity, man. It's all about networking and getting in touch with the right people. And when you do, make the most of it, man.
Right.
It's just like, yeah, it's true. And in this age as well, I mean, we have so much access to just everything when it comes to the internet. I mean, with social media, you can really get in touch with anyone. Like, this is something that our parents didn't have access to. I mean, I can literally DM Beyonce. She may not answer, but I can do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a possibility. If you have a following and you get enough people to tag a celebrity to get their attention, you can do it. So it's really how hard are you willing to work, and how long are you willing to crawl through the mud, because it's possible for anyone to get to where they want to be, to get their foot in the door. So it's definitely it's interesting, man. It's really possible, a lot of opportunity.
So I want us to sound off on one more topic before we transition to our final segment of the day. Man, it's been a really good interview so far. I wanted to sound off on life after passions, right? So when I say passions, I mean things that don't necessarily require the amount of mundane approach that we would do for like a regular 9-to-5 job, such as artistry, whether it's rapping, singing, playing basketball, whatnot. And Cass, you're an excellent person to ask this question to, because of obviously the space that you're currently in, and because I mean all three of us can actually talk about this, but I definitely want you to sound off on it, Cash. I'm not saying that rap is bad. I'm not saying that being a rapper or being an artist is bad. But what I'm saying, guys, is that it does annoy me. Like, even now, I'm subbing at a high school right now, and like a lot of the boys respect me because, like, you know, sometimes I'll go in there in the gym with them on my free time and I'll ball with them, and they're like, oh, word, yo, mister, you can ball like that? It's like, yeah, it's like I'm an anomaly to them. Like, if I'm just teaching them or if I'm just hanging around with them in the classroom, they're like, oh, whatever, cool, you know, this guy is just one of them. But then the moment I showed them I could put the ball between my legs and score or even play great defense, you know what I'm saying, or throw a wicked pass, they're just like, oh shoot, like, yo, mister, what's good? Like, all of a sudden in the hallway, it's like, I'm chilling, what y'all doing? How y'all, you know what I'm saying? It's so different how the interaction changes, you know what I'm saying? But then when I try to sit down with them and try to get them to do their work, you know, they're just indifferent towards it, you know? It's like, dude, my guy, you know, like, basketball, rap, you know what I'm saying, music, there's more to life out there than this, right? Like, there's more to this. Like, there's so much more that you can possibly have. And it annoys me because, like, even when I was coaching basketball last year, at West Middle, shout out to all my boys at West Middle. We had a really good season last year, 6-3, you know, shameless plug. But, like, only one of them, shoot, if they're even lucky, right? Only one of them out of the 15 on that roster, if that, maybe, will probably go pro, whether it's overseas or whether it's in the NBA, right? So, and like, I feel as if now, like, not nowadays, but like over the past 25, 30 years, it seems, but young kids aren't planning for things, right? So, like, for example, I think Kobe Bryant said it in an interview a few years back, probably like 2 years ago when he retired. He was like, when he tore his Achilles in 2012, he literally said, oh my gosh, the first thing he thought about was not when I'm going to get back on the court, not when I'm going to prosper and get back to leading the Lakers to glory, but what am I going to do in case all of this is over right now? What do I have after basketball? Have I been planning for anything else after basketball, right? And the reason why I say that is because I'm proud of Kobe. Like, if you look at the way Kobe's moving right now, he pretty much reinvented himself. He has his own storytelling publishing company. He's in a lot of venture capital spaces and things like that. So I know he's pursuing that. You know, I'm really, really proud of seeing what he's doing right now. And then I even think about Jay. You think about Puff. You know what I'm saying? You think about Dre. You think about, Joe Budden, man, Chamillionaire. Shoot, even Chamillionaire, people laugh at Chamillionaire, like, Chamillionaire, what he doing? But Chamillionaire's hard right now in the tech industry. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys have reinvented themselves, and they were thinking, if they weren't, maybe the money slowed up at one point, but they were thinking about a career after rap, after sports, after football, whatever the case may be. Cash, can you talk about that a little bit, man? Like, do you think that in addition to wanting to get into what, rap and whatever it is that kids are aspiring to get into today, or the things that are promoted to us, kids should also be thinking too as well, what is my end goal with this? Where is rap going to get me? Because at the end of the day, you're not always going to be hot spitting the 16 forever, right?
Right. So, there's really in life there's a next level no matter what you're doing. There's always going to be a next level, and you should always be striving for that next level. But in rap in particular, rap I believe, and I've seen a lot of people say this in particular. I think it was French Montana. He was like, rap is just a stepping stone, you know. That's to get your foot in the door, and that's gonna open you up to invest elsewhere. And that's what you should be thinking about even before your first single comes out, for real, because like you said, you're not gonna be hot, or you're not gonna be hot forever. Not everybody's as lucky or not as great. I mean, I even say is lucky, but I was like, you was lucky. I don't know why I said that. Right. But I don't know nobody that's as great as Hov or like Eminem. They really went through some stuff to really keep their thing going for a long time. You can be like that, but like I will always say, use that as a stepping stone. And for me personally, I have my thing, my program where I'm going to be pursuing that no matter what, whether I'll blow up or not. That's going to be done. But I also want to have a production company. I'm going to have a production company. You gotta speak right. I'll be correcting myself a lot. If y'all gonna notice that I correct my speech a lot, and I encourage a lot of people to do that. Watch how you speak to yourself. Watch how you speak to people, because that's really gonna come back to you 100%. Right. So I'm gonna have a production company, and I'm gonna be an actor, and I'm gonna be producing my own movies. I already started writing some movies, and I plan to be in the acting world. And I'm going to be as big as possible with this acting thing, because even since a young boy, before rapping, before music, I was into theater. A lot of people don't know that. I was into drama. I was doing plays, and I remember one time my mom came to parent-teacher conference in middle school, and she saw my drama teacher. This is my favorite teacher. My drama teacher was like, listen, your son, he's gifted, and he has a real talent in this acting thing. I think you should really push on this for him. And I never forget her saying, I never forget it. So that's one thing I'm also gonna do. But I have a lot of on my plate, but I encourage people out there to fill your plate up for real, and make sure you're gonna eat everything on that plate too, though, because you know Thanksgiving you go put everything on your plate, but you don't finish your plate. Finish your plate. You feel me?
Right. Mark, your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely, man. I totally agree with that. Just in terms of just like, well, it's tricky, man. Let me think for a second. It's like, I feel like with your goals, you know, like when it comes to like rapping, basketball, you know, even let's say acting. I mean, I feel like those are stepping stones, but those are stepping stones for very few people. And when I say stepping stones for very few people, is not everybody's going to make the NBA. Not everyone's going to be a rapper or an actor. Like you, my brother. Like you've been places and you've performed on stages that some brothers would cut off their foot to get there. You know what I mean? And it's just like not everyone's going to touch that. Not everyone's going to get on that stage, man. So it's like I feel like we have to chase our dreams, but like you said, Kev, we do have to have other things on the side as well, like other endeavors as well. Like not everyone can be a rapper or a basketball player, but anyone can invest their money. So we definitely have to have our hands in many different pots. Like you said, Cass, you know, fill up your plate. You know, you don't want to just have one thing on your plate, because if you eat that and you got nothing left, I mean, you really want to have your hand in many different things. So I just feel like our youth, we just have to be really intentional and have many different ideas in place at one time, because we're all at the ground floor when it comes to our community. And if we strike out on something, we can't be looking around like, you know, why me, man? Why didn't I make it? If you miss one, you'll definitely make another one.
Right.
Because you only have to be right one time. And if you're depending on one thing and that thing blows up in a bad way, you don't want to be looking around like, what am I going to do next? You want to go to the next thing on your plate. Like, okay, I got this too. I got that too.
Right.
So definitely, I totally agree with both of you, man. It's definitely got to be many different things, and you can't just bank on one, because if it doesn't work out, you're screwed.
It's crazy. It's crazy because, like, you know, even now, I adjunct as a professor. I go in college in East Hartford. And so, like, you know, I probably go into the gym 3 times a week, you know, 2 times to work out. I hit the weight room, and then on Mondays and Tuesdays, and then on Fridays, I usually go in there to just, you know, to hit up rec, you know what I'm saying, ball. And like the ballers that are there, you know, some of them are ballers, you know, that, you know, go to the college, obviously, and they're students, but majority of the dudes that's always balling there, they're on the basketball team. And like, so even when they don't have practice, they're always in there. And I'm like, like, these dudes really on that ball is life type stuff. And I'm saying to myself in my head, I'm like, like, I go in here to just get a workout, right? Twice a week, Monday and Tuesday. I used to be the type to be balling there 3 days a week. But think about it, right? Now I'm a teacher, I'm a professor. So I'm like, you know what, it's cool, you know, get a sweat, you know, get some cardio in there. So I'll run with the guys on Friday. Sometimes I'll even invite some of my closest homeboys, you know, since I'm a professor, I got it like that, you know, and come ball with us. But I'm like, as I'm leaving, you know, mind you, right, I'm 29, and like these young boys, they're like 18, 19, 21, 22, and I'm just like, like, this is all they got, right? And I'm saying to myself, I'm like, why y'all even doing this at this point? And not trying to discourage them or saying it's not worth it, but it's like, if you're playing D4 basketball, like, honestly, does it even make sense wasting your time, like, being on the team? Like, you know, and I don't mean to say that because I don't want to discourage anyone from playing basketball anywhere, you know, even little programs like that, but it's just like, I think there's something to be said, and it shows the errors of our ways and how problematic it is when we got these young boys here at 18, 21 playing D3, D4 basketball, and they don't and just even with conversations with them, like their vocabulary, like their subject matter, their substance is very limited. I'm like, this is all we talking about right now? Like, that's it, just ball? And it's just like, I know I couldn't go out with them and have any conversations or sit down with them and have conversations about anything else. It's just like, it's literally, you know what I'm saying, I come on the court, and you know, and no offense to them, but thank God I don't got them as my students, because then they would try to play with me for their grade. But like, but it's like, you know what I'm saying, I come here, you know what I'm saying, I'll get into my codes, my slang, and I'll talk with y'all, whatever. We'll rap about ball, we'll probably talk about college ball, the league, whatever, whatnot. But after this, that's it. Like, I'm not going to speak life about anything else to you because you just wouldn't understand it. You're just not mentally mature at this time to have that impressionable or sustainable conversation. So you know what? This is where I leave it. But then when I leave, I'm just like, damn, like, this school or society is really doing these fellas a disservice because this is all they got, you know what I'm saying? And they never pivoted and thought about any other avenues in which they could embark upon. I don't know. What y'all think about that?
Yeah, I can definitely agree, man. I mean, but here's the thing, though. I mean, it's double-sided because one thing that's guaranteed with all of us is, you know, we're gonna die, right? Mm-hmm. So it's hard to say, hey, just give up on your dream and just go be realistic and get a job because, man, your dreams are really all you have. I mean, granted, we can have a realistic approach because we're all over the age of 20, 25. Mm-hmm. So we've entered, you know, being realistic. But at 18 and 19, come on, Kev, me and you used to talk about ball 24/7 at that age.
You're right.
You know what I mean? It took us a while to really develop our minds and say, okay, you know, there's more to life than basketball. You know, it really took us a while, bro. We can't forget that, bro.
No, you're right, man. Thanks for checking me.
Man, that's all we talked about. And it takes you a while for life to punch you in the face and say, put the basketball down, and you need to go for something else that's actually possible. Mm-hmm. You know, we're 5'8", 5'9". You know, to really say at that age that you're gonna make it, you got to really be realistic, but it takes a while to get that out of your system, in my opinion.
Speak for yourself, brother. Speak for yourself, brother. I'm 5'10". So with sneakers.
A lot of times at that age, you could become like a chameleon in social places. Like if you're around your boys, and that's what y'all do is talk about ball. I mean, you're gonna talk about ball all the time. But if you around girls or whatever, I mean, your conversation might be a lot different. Like I feel like at that age, that really happens a lot. Mm-hmm. But I also wanted to put out there that if anybody out there wants to actually be an artist or a rapper or creative, it took me a while to get here, but you have to really be realistic about the funds that it takes to go into these things, and that you need some type of revenue. You need a job, or I was good enough to have friends around me that invested and stuff like that, and actually helped me out with these things on top of like getting a job. But it took me a little while to like realize that I need a decent job to really fund this thing for real. And I got that a little late. So like I encourage people out there. I know people want to focus on their creativity and all that, but at the same time, you got to realize the reality of life. And time is going at the same time. So you want to have some type of savings. You want to have some type of money. I mean, because the girls are gonna be there too, and you're gonna want to have some fun. But you gotta have some fun. You gotta have some fun. So, but at the same time, realistically, you want to have something in your savings for real, to really sustain this thing that's going on. So I encourage my young people out there to get a job while you're doing this thing, or find a way to get money, get your hustle on, whatever you got to do. I mean, as long as it's legal. I mean, what?
That's real. I'm a writer. I'm a poet. You know, I got books lined up, books coming out, and I got two jobs. You know what I'm saying? I'm a teacher by day, and I'm a professor at night. So yeah, you're right. Yeah. All right, gentlemen, we've reached the end of the show. All right, this is our third and final segment. It's called Word to the Wise. You both pretty much know what it is, as Mark has been co-host for a while, and Cash, I explained it to you off air before we got here. So, Cash, I'll have you go last today. I'll start off first, and then Mark, you can go right after me. So, word to the wise community out there, wise guys, wise gals. Here we go. My word to the wise for today's episode, Too Cool for School. Man, I'm putting myself on the spot here. I wanted to go first, and I don't even have one ready. Real talk. My word to the wise is discipline. All right, so that's my word for today, discipline. And the reason why I choose the word discipline is because whatever it is that you want to do in life, whether, you know what I'm saying, you want to be a writer or a novelist or a poet such as myself, or you want to be a teacher or a doctor or a lawyer, whatever the case may be, or a basketball player, you want to make sure that if you really, really, really are, invested into your craft personally, and you're sharing, that with people around you. You're telling them that that is who you are, what you embody, and what you do. You want to make sure that you have discipline. You can't say, you're a poet, you're a writer, you're a rapper, you're a basketball player, but you take no time out of your life to put your sweat and your tears into your craft. You know what I'm saying? I know for sure when I started writing from 2012 to 2017, there'd be days and weeks where I would just lock in my basement for hours at a time, like 4, 5, 6 hours, just writing a story, making sure that I got it right. Shoot, even when I was working back at Queensboro a few years ago, and I'd be writing stories, like I would lock in like around like 5 o'clock, once I clocked off, and then I would literally stay, mind you, right? Everybody's gone, off hours. I have the keys to the department, to the office. I'd literally stay back from 5 to 10 p.m. at night, just writing with like a 20, 30-minute bathroom break and food break in between. Leaving, mind you, right? I didn't even have a car at the time. So leaving campus like around 10, making sure that I ran across campus to catch that Q30 at 10:10, 10:15 to get home. Like, that's the kind of blood, sweat, and tears we're talking about. Like, that kind of discipline. Do you have that kind of discipline, audience? Do you have that kind of discipline where you say to yourself, you're going to sit down and you're going to just block off the world, shut off your phone, put your phone on Do Not Disturb, or turn it completely off, and literally say, I'm going to devote the next month to writing 3 hours, 3 days a week, every single week for the next 4 to 5, 6 weeks? That's the kind of focus and level of intensity it takes. Before I pass it on to Mark, I remember recently I was watching The Shop, LeBron James' show on HBO, shout out to those guys, and Maverick and LeBron were talking, and I remember Maverick was saying, LeBron wasn't there that episode, but Maverick was saying to the cast for that episode, he was like, me and LeBron, we can tell who's got it and who doesn't. Like, we'll often be sitting courtside, we'll be sitting courtside at a game where he's not playing, or he'll be playing, and then, afterwards, we'll be looking at guys, and LeBron will come over to me and say in my ear, like, this guy, he's got it, but he's not all the way locked in. And when I heard that, like, when I say that stirred something up in my soul, that stirred something up in my soul. It doesn't matter how much talent you have, how much creativity you have, how much potential you have, but if you don't lock in, like, if someone such as LeBron James can look at a talent and say he's got it, but he don't know how to lock in, that says a lot about your level of discipline and your tenacity. So, whatever it is that you want to do in life, make sure, wise guys, wise gals, that you lock in and you focus, and that all leads back to discipline. I know I rambled for a bit, but Mark?
Yeah, man, I can totally respect that. But I'll go a little opposite of you. I'll say, my word to the wise is awareness, because you can be locked in to the wrong thing. You can be locked in to something thinking that this thing can blow up, and that very thing has no possibility of blowing up. It's like if I love knitting socks, and I spend 20 hours a day knitting socks. These are just regular socks. Chances are I'm not going to be a millionaire making socks. You know what I mean? It's just we have to be aware of our market. We have to be aware of what we're doing, what we're putting our time into. Because you can be running a marathon and you feel like you're the fastest guy, and when the race starts, you start running in the wrong direction. You're losing from the start.
Yeah.
So you have to be aware of your market, aware of what you're putting your time into, because your time is your most valuable investment, because that's the one thing that we can run out of. So we just have to be conscious of what we're investing our time into. Just like you said with the kids in the college, you said they're 18, 19, and they're playing basketball for 9, 10 hours. They may be putting their time into the wrong thing, and they're working hard as hell. So I guess the moral of the story is like hard work does not determine success. Because if that's the case, construction workers and the guys driving the bus with the MTA would be the richest people in the world.
Wow.
So it's not hard work, it's just awareness.
That's a good one. All right, cool. I'm going to argue with you off air, but I'll take that. I'll take my loss for the day. Cash, how about you, man? What's your word?
My word is going to be hustle. And we're going to spell that the Nipsey Hussle way, Hussle.
I love it.
That's my guy. But I say hustle because a lot of that, a lot of hustle brought me to where I'm at right now. like I was saying earlier, like I would literally go on this website called myfreeconcert.com and search up all the free events that was going on in the city. And I go out there with my business cards and I tell people who I am, and I walk around, shake hands, talk to everybody in the room, no matter what you look like, what you doing. I was talking to you. And a lot of people met me through doing that right there, or through even sending out emails myself about myself, so sending out emails to blogs, sending out emails to different interviews, people, places to interview me, traveling to different states to perform. So like, all of this built my personal network, but I want to put it out there, like I was saying, you can put your hard work out there. You got to be aware, like one John Mark said. But once the hard work is put in, like, and consistently, like, you will eventually be undeniable as long as you in the right direction. So hustle, HUSL.
I love it.
Hustle.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. And that, again, that's a hustle like Nipsey Hussle, HUSSLE. All right. Cash, Mark and I, we want to thank you for coming on today, man. This was an excellent episode for sure.
Definitely.
This was truly.
I appreciate y'all, man, for real. Like, I don't normally do podcasts like this. Like, I normally do things that's very towards entertainment, but it's rare that I get to do things outside of that. So I deeply appreciate this, and thank you for reaching out to me.
No, absolutely. No, I appreciate you, man. I was like, I'd love to get this guy on. I'm like, we're not an entertainment show. We're more about enlightenment, education, and self-improvement. But I'm like, I don't know. I saw one of your posts recently, man, and you was chilling, and I saw the behind the music hashtag. I was like, nah, man. I was like, this guy's a rapper, but he fits perfectly in the mold of what we're trying to do, because he's more than just a rapper. He's a savant. He's a philanthropist. He's a businessman, and he's within the sector of educating the kids. So if he's involved within education, and using his trade to do it, then of course we got to have you on, man. So now, yeah, we really, really appreciate you. But a couple of things before we let you go. The first thing I wanted to say, in regards to you, shout out to the Louder crew. Shout out to my boy Ant. All right, my boy Ant out there. Shout out to all of y'all, Conflict all the way down, man. All y'all boys, man. I really, really love what y'all doing, and I appreciate y'all. And what I really love is that, 10, 12, 13 years strong in the game. Y'all been doing this, man, and y'all move as a unit, man. Like, y'all support each other's releases. You know what I'm saying? Y'all band as brothers, and I'm not there obviously every day, right? I'm not that close to you guys, but I'm sure there's some internal things you guys disagree about in regards to business or creativity wise in regards to your projects. But I love the way you guys support and you guys ride for each other, man. That's rare. I only see that with cats like Dreamville or TDE. So.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, we're trying to bring it. Not we're trying. We're going to make it a lot stronger. Like you said, people go through internal things, but things is coming along. So I appreciate that, man. Shout out to my guy. Shout out to Audible.
Yeah. And shout out to my boy, man, on Twitter, Instagram. Please be sure to follow him, because I see he rap hustle hard too. All right, my boy, he's so wavy. All right, shout out to my boy Rel, man. Yo, Rel, shout out to you, bro. I seen something I put up recently. He commented and he appreciated. You know what I'm saying? I don't talk to y'all boys often, but just know that where I stand, I'm watching what y'all doing from afar, and I'm always clapping and applauding, man. Even when you hopped on Sway, I texted you. I said, bro, yo, keep doing what you're doing, man, because I loved it, and I see that you're really out here grinding for everything you got, man. So. Nah, for sure. So, Cash, before we let you go, could you please, again, we really appreciated you today, so we're going to ask you, I'm actually ask you to do a couple of things. Could you first and foremost provide, the Wise community out there with your socials where they could find you online? Because we always want to make sure that our audience reaches out to you, to provide a question or a comment or to give you a thought in regards to what they thought about this episode. Very respectful, very peaceful, just to show you that love and that appreciation. And after you drop your socials, could you please plug some of your projects, some of the most recent, pieces of music and art you put out recently?
Absolutely. So Cash Sinatra on everything. That's like Frank, but a little bit darker. Cash Sinatra, like money. CASHSINATRA. That's on everything across the board. On Facebook, it's Raheem Cash Sinatra. My first name is Raheem. So it's Raheem Cash Sinatra on Facebook. And I always tell people, if you want to speak, you want advice, or whatever the case might be, you can hit me up personally. If you want me to coach you through something, I'm always open to speak to anybody. It doesn't take much to write back to someone. So always reach out to me. Don't be afraid. I'm here. Cash Sinatra. And also my project, Life After Sin. That was my most recent project, but it got taken down off of streaming because of a little copyright things going on. But I got 3 songs that's back up on there. So 3 songs on the project are up there, but everything else is on SoundCloud. And I have a bunch of singles that I dropped this year on streaming. So you search Cash Sinatra on any of the streaming platforms, you can find my music.
Absolutely. And one of my favorite projects from you, oh man, I forget the name of the song, but I think Raheem was dope, but there was a project before that I really vibed with. I think it dropped in like, yeah, wow, woo, man, wow, that's my shoot. Again, folks out there, I normally don't curse on the show, but for this sake, I was, wins over bro. Wow is my shit. All right. Again, excuse my language, ladies and gents, but wow is my shit. Wins over worries. I follow all your projects. I love them all, but wow, I love it. And again, Mark, you should definitely check out Cash's music. I'm telling you, Raheem got a lot of dope stuff. I think you would enjoy and you'd like.
Definitely, I sure will.
For sure. So, ladies and gents, if you truly enjoyed the show today, please be sure, remember to follow us online, all right, at Wise Guys NYC, all right, at Wise Guys NYC. And I'm going to put a challenge on myself today, all right? I'm putting it on wax, because I know I said last episode that we were going to have the Twitter up. I'm putting it on wax that this week, sometime this week when I get off work, I can actually have the Twitter page up and running, so that way next week I'm not saying, okay guys, another week and I'll have it up and running, all right? So I'm putting that pressure on myself, and I'm also going to put that pressure on Mark to remind me, all right, Mark, sometime this week to make sure I have it up and running. So again, that's at Wise Guys NYC. Also, please be sure to keep the messages and the love coming. Mark and I love all of the messages you guys are providing to us right now on Instagram. Our comment section is looking pretty good, Mark, both pre-launch and post-launch, so we really appreciate that. All right, so keep the messages coming in and email us at wiseguysnyc, all right, at gmail.com, at wise, not at, obviously, y'all know what I mean, wiseguysnyc at gmail.com, all right? Be sure to send us an email and a line. Mark, did I forget to add anything else?
Nah, we're all good.
And ladies and gents, please savor this episode. Please savor this episode in general, and us having Cash on, because we will not be having guests over our next 3 episodes because of scheduling and some other things we got going on. So the next 3 episodes will just be me and Mark going at it solo. But we'll definitely be back before the season is over with more guests. Trust me, we have a whole second wave of guests for the second half of this first season coming on. All right. So again, we appreciate y'all. Shout out to Cash once again. Shout out to the Louder crew. Again, we will see you all next. I'm not going to announce the episode for next week because I need to figure it out, but it'll be here soon, all right? Episode 10. Again, so like I said at the beginning of the podcast, this is your boy, Kevin Anglade.
And this is Mark Pruden.
And we are joined by our extraordinary guests,
Cash Sinatra.
And you have been tuning into the Wise Guys podcast, all right? So we'll see you all next week.